Yeah, what's up with it? Do it cause I love it and I stuck with it. We ain't with the subbing in the cut with it. Please none of the talks, I heard enough of it. Like, what you gonna do? Where you at? Who you with? You ain't really about this, don't talk about it. Really on the move, on the map, never slip. Keep your hands to your lips, don't talk about it. Real eyes, real lies all the time. Stand on it, if we said it, we don't walk around it. Loose lips, sink ships, red cup, blue strips, new phone, who this? No, we don't allow it. Really on go, I don't know what's an off day. Now we on road, came from smoking in the hallway. Now we got shows, boys feeling like Broadway. Always look both ways, even on a crossway. Driving down Cross Bay, out town Barclays. Really on big things, came up a small way. Championship rings, baby, that's a ball game. Oh, she want a little bag, baby, that's small change. Yeah, that money talk. If we ain't cool, then cut me off. No breaking news, don't run your mouth. Thought it was the plug, now he running off. Thought it was a plug, now he running off. What you gonna do? Where you at? Who you with? You ain't really about this, don't talk about it. Really on the move.
Hey guys, welcome back. Last night we had an amazing show with Galen McDowell. I mean, everyone gets so enthused about learning about relationships. And it's great. It's a great feeling. But ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you, season 3 of Real Talk with the Men, I'm excited. I think every one of these guys are just freaking rock stars. They have a lot to add to not only about relationships, but love, finance, health, travel, experiences. I mean, and you already know Galen is here. So we're always going to get that finishing touch of what should you do and how should you do it. So listen, I'm not going to hold back. You know, I'm just going to bring the beat in. So you guys know Matt is back. Matt is in Florida. So you know we get that little Florida thing. Matt, you look amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Listen, it's a new year, a new look. So we're super excited.
I'm more excited than I care to say. I got up and I was just like, this is going to be a rock star day. Well, you guys know it is Reverend Galen. So Galen, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourselves?
Listen, I'm excited about this show. The lineup is just getting better and better. And you guys already know RJ is here. RJ, the ladies want to know when you're going to introduce them to some musicians. I get a lot of that stuff.
Hey, it's like, coming soon.
What's going on?
Hey,
and that's Michigan. Then we got Ish. What's going on in New York?
What's up, y'all?
So is the weather still nice there?
Oh, so far so good. It's been like mid-40s this week.
But honey, you know we can't even carry the show without work, Ray. All I gotta say is work. I rewatched so many of those podcasts you joined. I fell out laughing. I had to cut yours into a reel. I thought it was so rock star. So all I gotta say is you are hilarious. We're going to talk about your upcoming show that will be here in a flash down in Macon, Georgia. So we want folks to check you out down there. And so one of our new additions is Tim Goodguy. What's going on in Tennessee?
What's up, fellas?
Welcome aboard.
Hey.
I'm excited to have you here. And I'm sure the ladies will feel the same. And I'm going to tell you, we balanced you guys out. You guys got a rock star now. You actually have a doctor on the team. So I want to say thank you, Dr. Campbell.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So all of those medical things I'm always talking about, aren't you guys glad now it's got somebody to shut me down? Boom, in our face.
I promise I won't shut you down. I'll just say, I'll just kindly guide you in a different direction. That's all. Not shut down.
I appreciate that. And you know what? I know a lot of people are eager. If you missed part of season 2, and definitely season 3, we have some new people. So guys, I'm going to ask each of you just to give a quick elevator pitch on who you are that you want people to know about you.
All right,
and I'll start with you. I'll start with you, Galen.
Okay, well, I'm the quickest and easiest. The senior assistant minister and executive minister at Christ Universal Temple in Chicago. I'm the host of the podcast Truth Transforms, which is on mindbodyspirit.fm. I've taught that podcast now for almost 11 years, teaching various metaphysical, spiritual, universal law principles to teach people how to live better lives, consciousness transformation, forgiveness, the whole 9. I've been teaching and helping people for almost 30 years, and I'm dedicated to doing it. I'm a husband, I'm a father, all around good guy like Tim. I'm a good guy.
Stop making one good guy.
I like that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, RJ, what about you?
I'm a loving father of 2 beautiful children, a boy and a girl. I'm a serial entrepreneur. My main business is technology, music as well. I'm a music executive and an investor, and about to embark upon the restaurant, nightlife, bar industry as well. And glad to be here for season 3 with these great gentlemen.
Okay, and so Matt, I'm saving for you for last because I know you're gonna give a whole dictionary. Ish, how about you?
Yes, I'm a national account manager for Speakers Bureau. Been married for 18 years now, 2 kids. In my youth, I helped a lot of my female friends, with their relationships. So I've developed somewhat of an ability to kind of, give pertinent advice to women mostly, which is why I'm here to kind of contribute to this panel.
Okay, I love that. Okay, Ward, is it safe to come to you now? What's gonna happen?
Yes, they come to me right now. Yeah.
Okay, all right, go ahead, Ward.
Also I'm comedian Ward Ray, and also own Rachel's Welding and Erection Company. We based in Atlanta, Georgia. Need weld wreck. I tell jokes, and I'm the best of the best.
I love it. Okay, Tim, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Tim, good guy. I'm in auto sales. I have my own clothing line. I'm a single father of 3 boys. Love my life. Raising them to be men. Not really good at fixing nothing or building nothing, no tech stuff, but I'm really good at making sure stuff gets built and fixed and tech. So that's me. I just make sure it get handled.
Okay, Matt.
All right, and Matt Bowman, managing partner of Bowman Vineyard and Winery, is the oldest Black winery on the East Coast. Retired Navy, Blue Jets off aircraft carriers, and I do 3 things. 1 is I work with the federal government. 2, I'm in the serial entrepreneur, so we're in a lot of space, cannabis, real estate, a bunch of other things. And then last, and probably most importantly, do executive coach for women. So we have an executive coaching program called Bride Ready, 12 months to the man of your dreams. Married for 26 years, owner for 30, 3 kids. Like I said, down here in Florida, DC.
Okay, awesome. Okay, and then Dr. Campbell.
All right, Dr. Neville Campbell. I am a physician, board-certified anesthesiologist and pain medicine physician. I have a practice here in Las Vegas. I'm the CEO for the Center for Wellness and Pain Care. 3 locations, about 60 employees. Author of a book. A father of 3 amazing, wonderful, beautiful young ladies, and I've been married for about 23 years now. I think above all of this, I love life, and I just like to really, really share that love life with people. So I think my crowning thing is my presence, my purpose, and what we're here to do, which is to share love to everyone that we come in contact with. So that's my crowning, thing I would say that, about me, right? Yeah.
I love that. See how he has that energy? He just makes me want to, pull it together. So I'm going to tell you already, you guys are getting love from cast from other shows. So everybody knows Precious. She said, these men are fine. She said, dropping gems and tea. Okay. So thanks, Precious, for watching. We really appreciate it. So guys, I'm going to start it real simple. I think one of the things I do goal setting, but I call them I am statements. And I think everybody does that at the beginning of the year to I'm going to do this. But what I've been taught, in my faith, we use that to kind of guide what we call affirmations for us. And we read them every day because you're reading them into existence, right? And so that's different for me, but it's the same because they're my goals for the year. And I have a list of them. I have 12 goals. Now, mind you, it's not about me, but it's about what do you guys look at as men when you think about goal setting. So my first question to you guys, did you set any goals for yourself this year? And can you share a few of those goals? And so, RJ, I'm going to start with you.
Well, my goals are not annual goals, they're daily goals, and there's things that I instill in my children. The goal for every day in life is to be the best version of yourself and to make the day better than yesterday. So for me, it's about instilling greatness, instilling financial education, and just greatness and good character within my children, because my children are the center of my world. So everything I do is from my last name, not my first name, and that's important to me.
All right. So what do you guys think about that? This is like an open conversation, by the way. I just started with RJ because he has that whole sensitive thing, and I knew he was going to bring his kids in because he loves those babies. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think it's important that men or people in general establish goals?
I think people should establish goals in general. It's like, it's like our brother Les Brown, the motivator, used to always say, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit nothing dead on the head. So what ends up happening many times is people don't realize that they have some level of intention. If they don't have some level of intention, they're just reacting to life. They're not being active. They're not creating. They're not producing anything. Therefore, when you're reacting, many times you can be on somebody else's agenda and not necessarily producing a life that works for yourself.
And to piggyback on Rev, I was speaking to a friend, I think today or whatever, and I was telling him about why he needs to set his GPS so he can have direction of where he goes at. Because without that, you're just gonna wander around and see and land where you land. And I was telling him that depending on what type of GPS you have, you could have a Garmin, an old school, and it might keep on rerouting you, but you're gonna eventually get to where you need to be at. Now, if you got the real stuff, since y'all tech guys, you got the real stuff, then you're gonna have a more skip through traffic and get where you're going type of thing. And like you said about the kids, at the end of the day, my goal is to leave a legacy for my boys, save from going through all I had to go through, which was a lot, and I'm still here, and life is good. They're gonna be great. That's what I'm about.
So I know, like for you, Ish, in the field that you work in, I think because of your dad, you're setting goals all the way around. I mean, you went to a HBCU, and I'm not trying to be funny, but the way we kind of did plan in HBCU is goal setting from start to finish. We had to really look at what our end was. So, I mean, what's up with that, Ish? What you doing over there with the kids?
Well, my focus is to use some of the experiences and what I've learned from HBCU. I'm trying to start a podcast where we're speaking to bridging the gap between the different ethnicities and races. I think in our society today, there's a bridge, and I'm trying to bridge that gap. I think there's a wide amount of information that's not privy to Latinos, for whites that we as African Americans may know of. I'm trying to forge a organization where we can kind of start teaching people about history and how we're all the same essentially. Where there's a lot of similarities. And I think history and science be a good way to bridge that gap.
I like that. And you guys, so you got what is it? My Healing Art said that she agrees, and then Precious said you already know. Like for her, goal setting is really big. And Takara, thank you. Another Real Talk with the Ladies chiming in from California. I love it. Thank you, ladies, for supporting the other cast members. She said, what do we have here? And she's trying to basically say all of y'all is fine. Just to let you know, she's a comedian. So I can't wait till her and Warwick get together. And then she said, #HBCU love. So folks, if you don't know, mine is back there, Delaware State. I'm HBCU all the way. That's just, I don't know. And my son did not go to HBCU. He won't get in there. She was saying, My Healing says nice pipes for Dr. Campbell. What does that mean? Dr. Campbell, are you already?
I'm trying to.
Are you already starting with your fan club?
I don't know.
It's only been 5 minutes.
Hey, Doc, you almost had me going in the gym.
I know, man. Let me put my white coat. Let me put my white coat on as I talk about these goals in the next 5 minutes here.
I know. Okay, so wait a minute. So guys, listen, we'll be right back after this commercial break. And all I gotta say is, Dr. Campbell, that's a record. 5 minutes, and you already got a fan club. I don't even know what's happening. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Taking the chance, stuck in my head, not gonna leave it at that. Taking the lead, feeling your heat, just wanna give you my best. I don't even know your name, but you got me. 'Cause you're old to die. We don't know what happens next, but you got me. 'Cause I'm next in line. You make it look so easy, making me feel so dreamy. Never wanna pay for drinks, but you got me. 'Cause you're old to die. Got me locked in now. Go ahead and take a shot. Do you really want me? Maybe you're just.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to the 5Fs to Love. This is season 3, Real Talk with the Men. And when we left off, we were talking about goal setting and how important it is to really establish some goals. So I'm going to do real talk with all of you guys. I don't know if y'all got better goal settings than Dr. Campbell. So I'm just going to tell you, he got in my stuff like real quick, like right away. He was like, you need to be jumping rope. I need you on top of this, like your health. Like he's on it. But not only that, he shares it with everybody all over. Like he makes sure he posts on his Instagram when he's working out. He's getting people to follow routines and get excited about working out and healthy living. So I'm gonna be honest with you, Dr. Campbell, you're a great motivator. Like I've been getting my behind up. Okay.
Thank you. I'm glad that we're able to reach one. I tell people that if you can only reach one, then then your goal, your mission for reaching would have been accomplished. But as it relates to goal setting, I know a few guys have commented earlier. I believe that setting goals, that's been a part of me since I was a kid. I mean, navigating my pathway, navigating to where I am right now could not have been possible without goal setting. I tell people we have one life to live, and time is our most valuable resource, right? As it was mentioned earlier about the GPS, right? If you don't have a GPS navigating you, then you're going to waste time. And as you waste time, you could be in a loop forever, or you could take a detour and take you on a pathway that wastes so much time that you could have really cut out if you had planned ahead. Setting goals is like planning ahead. I tell my employees now that, as we have quarterly goals and annual goals, we have to have daily goals. There's some static coming through there. I'm not sure where it's from, but if
can everybody put your mic on pause? I mean, on mute for me if you're not speaking, just in case.
Perfect.
Okay, it was somebody who just muted. It's either Matt or Ish, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, if you don't, I tell my staff right now that if you don't have daily goals that are consistent with your monthly goals, that are then consistent with your annual goals, then you will never be able to accomplish that which we set out to accomplish. So every year in my practice and in my different businesses, we do goal setting, right? We do planning. It's the same thing like planning. Vision board, if you will, we plan it out. But I challenge each member of my team, right? Whatever you do today, how is that impacting your monthly goals? And don't look at the big picture. Like people look at the big picture. Yes, you need to visualize the big picture in your mind, but then you need to be able to scale back and break that down, right, to tangible things, right? I want to accomplish all these things, but what can I do today? And are the things that I'm doing today in line or consistent with me achieving my goals? If it's not, then we need to cut them out, whether it's people, whether it's things that we're engaging in, or things that we're entertaining. If it's not consistent with our broader picture, then those things should be eliminated. Otherwise, we're going to be wasting time. I tell my kids the same thing. That's a different story because they don't listen. They think that I'm just old, but still.
Don't worry about that. We know kids don't listen. We just say it. They'll pick it up later.
But that's been my path, and I think it's been working, and it's been and it's served me well. And I try to relate this to my management team. Even you got to set goals, and then we got to check in. You got to check in regularly to see where we are with these goals. And if you miss in achieving your daily, your monthly, no big deal. We can always get back on track.
Exactly. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about is getting back on track throughout this process, because you'll get off track and it's easy to do. Okay. So Precious says, straight out of Brooklyn, she's talking to you, Ish. So My Healing Art says, Campbell, sorry. Precious also says Spelman College 2001. That's what I'm talking about. HBCUs. This is how we do it. Okay. My Healing Hand says arms and biceps. Okay. All right. Dr. Campbell, you just bring it on in. Bring the beat in. Okay, so Ramel, thank you, honey. This is Real Talk with the ladies. Ramel, she says hashtag FAMU Rattlers. That's what I'm talking about, HBCUs. This is how, right, Matt? That's how we do it. She said, don't hurt her with the white coat, Dr. Campbell. Matt, let me see. There we go. And then we got Mason 74. I am here for the wisdom from Reverend Galen. I listened to your podcast. Thank you, Mason, for listening. Thank you so much and welcome. And so My Healing Art says, how about stretch goals? She said regular goals can be limiting at times. Strive to go beyond the goal mark and don't stop there. What do you guys think about that? And I know for you, Reverend, you teach that, but Tim, what about you? Because just to let you guys know, Tim makes sure every day, you know what he said to me? He says, I'm not trying to pick on you, but I'm calling to talk to you. If you're sitting at your desk, go get on your treadmill or get on your bike and talk to me. And at first I was like, you know what, how dare him? I just met this man. He's going to talk about me. I guess he said I got to chunk down. But he was like, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you could be doing this while you're doing that.
Absolutely.
And so I'm saying to her point, like sometimes you need an accountability partner. But Tim, what do you think about what she just said, the stretch goals?
I mean, you always want to reach for the goal. I mean, I'm always trying to get ahead, so I don't think I'm never going to be satisfied. So I think that when you walk in the walk, you really, you climb a mountain, you just go to the next one. So, you always want to do bigger and better things, and set goals. You set short term, long term, but when you're doing it really, you don't really get time to think about the ones you accomplish because you're too busy on to the next one, really. So.
And that's where I'm at. Go ahead, Dr. Campbell.
See, that's that brings me back to a show that I watched, an anime show that this guy was talking about plus ultra, and the concept of plus ultra is going way beyond, and then going beyond from there. If you think about it, like you've maxed out, but then you're going beyond maxing out, like you're tapping into the reserves that you didn't even know that you have. When I hear plus goals, that's what I hear. And, to me, every day, that's what I do. I do plus. But for people who are just starting out, I believe it's important for them to get the basics down, right?
Okay.
Simple planning. Just try to every day get, one step in front of the other, lockstep, until you start learning that. Then when you get that mastered, we can start picking up the pace. And then we can start running, then we can start sprinting, then we can start blowing out of the waters. So I think the plus goals, I do those a lot. For me, I superset everything. If I'm talking to you, I'm texting, I'm doing this, I'm multitasking. Why? Because again, for me, time, very valuable. And for me to accomplish all these goals that I have, all these goals, if I don't use time very effectively and efficiently, then I will never get there. And so for that reason, sometimes I have to be on the treadmill and texting. I have to be on the treadmill on the phone. I'm doing something else. Why? Because I'm utilizing that time as best as I possibly can, knowing that I have these goals and knowing that my mind, I'm going to accomplish them. You have to believe it too.
Right.
I like that. And just let you guys know real quick, Holly says, and she's with Real Talk with the ladies, she said, hey, boo, hey, Holly. And then Anissa said, hey, you know. So the thing is, she's talking to you, Ish. The thing is, you guys are all on point. I think a lot of times we go in and we set these goals, but it's like, can you really stick to it? And one of the things that I really like when I'm talking with Galen is that I really have time, not only just on Wednesday, but on any given day. It's like he hits me with something in Instagram or it's in Facebook and he's like, watch this. And everything is to keep me motivated. So one of the things I'm going to tell people is not just the intent. Sometimes you need to be motivated, especially me. I don't have any family. So when I'm here in this space, I'm in my own little ecosystem and my only family is my son. So trust me, he's not really pouring in that stay on track, mom, do this. He does what he does, but he's 20. He's really not in tune with me right now. He's on something younger, which I understand. But the thing is, you do need those people that's in and out of your life that at some point you're on some frequency and they connect with you and they're on you and you don't even know like it's happening. So you got to keep your stuff. You got to keep it tight. So my next thing is when you goal setting, you're making a list of vision board mapping and workflow or sticky notes. What is the best way that you guys would recommend that someone is consistently reminded these are your goals? Like what is it that you would say or advise them to do? And I'm gonna start with you, Galen.
Well, I always teach it based upon a basic concept of the mental equivalent. I call the mental equivalent clarity of thought and conviction of feeling. First of all, how clear can you get in your mind about what it is you say you want to experience, what you want to produce, what you want to create? Because without that part, then none of the other stuff works, because you'll have a lot of energy going nowhere, or directionalist, or without direction. And that just doesn't work. The conviction of feeling is, once you get clear about what it is that you say you desire, then you have to get to the space to where you know that it's possible for you in your gut. It has to be in there. Like, I believe this is possible. I'm going for it. I know it's mine. I'm embodying it. So once you get clear in your mind, clarity of thought, and then conviction of feeling, and then you start to put things down on paper. Let me formulate, make sure that I'm clear, put some timelines in, get some accountability in, mastermind groups, accountability partners. And when you start making vision boards, what I just tell people is stretch, but it has to be possible for you. If you don't believe that it's possible, now you're making a wish list that you know that you're not going to accomplish. It has to stretch you. It has to make you uncomfortable. It has to make you unreasonable, but it still has to be possible for you, because there's possibility, there's plausibility, and there's probability. We want to get people to the point of possibility, but if they get past the state of possibility, then it's sort of like people are trying to play the God lottery. Well, if everything goes right and I don't have to do this, and the universe lines up, or my zodiac sign says this, or what, all these other silly things that have nothing to do with focusing your mind, focusing your conviction, channeling your energy, and putting action toward what it is you say you desire. So a vision board without action, a vision board without commitment, a vision board without all the things you need to do to make sure that you are accountable to yourself and in integrity with yourself means nothing. Get your mind right, then get in alignment with what it is you say you desire.
Okay, guys, I want to be clear. If you didn't understand that, you can always rewind, but you need to get your mind right. That's what I heard. And don't, you can't create a vision board. People, and that's the thing they do. So people create these things. But the question I want to ask you guys, because to me, I'm getting ready to get to real conversation. What do you do when you run across someone, male or female, who has set this impossible goal or dream or idea, and they put some goal setting tools behind it, and you're like, this is just unrealistic based on the time, and they're using you to check in to say, okay, what do you think? How do you think I'm doing? What do you say to a person? Do you say, like, this is total BS? Like, you're never, what is this? Where do you be realistic? That's like me saying that I'm going to be a swimsuit model next year. That's not realistic.
Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead.
Anything is possible. You wouldn't want to kick nobody down, because who really are you to say that somebody can't do something?
Yeah.
I mean, it all started in here with you to do it anyway. Like I was telling the guy, the same guy I was talking about, I keep bringing him up, but I was telling him, he was trying to tell me, they ain't going to let me do this. I ain't going to have the help. I told him, man, you 100% of all the people you need. It all starts with you. Because if you wait on somebody to give you some kind of back or something like that, they usually give you the back after you are already a success. You know what I mean? But when you walking the walk and you're doing the thing, it all seems impossible to somebody else, or they really don't care. Like you said, Les Brown said, 80% of the people don't care, and 20% glad it's you that's going through the thing. So, you wouldn't want to tell, you want to tell him in a realistic way that in order to do it, you need to pick your feet up to do it. You
can happen.
You doing it your way is not going to get it that way.
Right.
These impossible dreams, you're going to need to get excited about them.
Right.
Okay, so RJ, what are you thinking?
So for me, with the goal setting and achieving, is simple. It's a see it, believe it, achieve it mentality, right? You have to visualize the goal that's realistic for you and whatever those goals are. Then the believing is believing that you can accomplish and achieve those goals. And the achieving is executing, commitment, and consistency, right? So all those things tied in together, like to the point, you saying you can't be a swimsuit model next year. Why can't you? If you visualize it and you execute.
Brother, don't support RJ's foolishness.
And you're committed and you're consistent, then you can achieve that. So you never want to tell someone they can't do something. You want to be encouraging and not discouraging, right?
And the
So-
thing about it, Christine, is that when you do it, it's going to be like 30 other women right behind you that do it just like
Because
it.
you're going to be motivation for
Tim,
women that didn't
don't
think.
Because
join him.
people
And,
said
and
you couldn't
Dr.
run a
Campbell,
mile
really?
before men.
Really?
Listen,
Then when somebody
Christine hate when I'm right.
Don't join
Hate when I'm
him.
right.
everybody high school,
He hate when I'm
everybody right.
So I'm gonna chime in right here because I believe that these guys are onto something. Next year we're gonna see Christine. Come on now. But in all seriousness, though, I do see both sides of the coin, right? I've had friends that have approached me and told me that you can't and you shouldn't because of what I mentioned. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? If I wasn't strong-willed, then I would have been derailed. So sometimes we get, you're almost cautious who you tell what you're trying to accomplish because, again, we talk about those making it so out, well, not so far fresh, but to the point where it's uncomfortable for most people to visualize that. And to me, that's a goal. Like, it's not like, I can just get up and do it tomorrow. I have to work, to accomplish it. And so when you share these things with people, the average person might say, that's impossible. And they shoot you down. And those words, they begin to rest heavily on you. And everything you do, those words get into your mind, get into your soul, and start to weigh you down and prevent and take you off track. So there's certain times I'm like, should I even mention this to people because it's too far fetched, right? But if I wasn't strong-willed earlier on in my development, then I would have been, put off, derailed, if you will, because those words would have taken me off track. I mean, if I said that I was going to fly tomorrow, then come on, please talk sense in my head. Dude, come on, get off the LSD, get off whatever you're getting up. You can't fly.
Not tomorrow, though.
And that's the reality. But if I want to do something that is realistic, I believe that there's a way to approach it, right? If someone mentions something to you, as opposed to being discouraging to people now, I engage them in questions. Okay, great. That sounds like an amazing plan. So what are your next steps? Who have you talked to see if I can walk them through the process where they can draw their own conclusion, whether or not this is feasible or not. It needs to be something that they need to draw versus us telling them, if you follow me.
And you just hit the nail on the head. Two things that I think people, when you walk away from what Dr. Campbell said, for me, before I did this podcast, I didn't even thought about podcasts. I didn't even watch podcasts. It wasn't even a concept, an idea, or anything that I thought that I would be doing. And that's just 100%. Very private person, posted very little on social media, didn't want everybody in my space. But what I found was I did goal setting and I mentioned to somebody, I think I'm going to do a podcast. And it was with the right person. So Reggie, if you're watching, Reggie Diller, we went to college together. Reggie got on a plane and flew out here once a month just to do a live podcast with me. That's how much he believed in me and my idea. And that live podcast branched off into this. So if it wasn't for me talking to your point, to the right person, and they said, Christine, hell, you could do anything. We've never seen you do anything that you didn't accomplish and you didn't do well. And for him to still feel that way about me since college, to the point where he put money on it and flew out here to make sure I did this, you can't beat that. So people, what I'm going to say to you is it's very important that you surround yourself with realistic people, because I've said some stuff that was unrealistic. We won't share those things publicly, but it was stuff that I wanted to do because I still might try it. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those folks, I don't take no. But the thing is, I also want people to know to be inspired. Every one of these guys, the reason why they're here is because in their field and in their spaces where they're at, they're considered experts. The other day I was teasing Tim because I was calling him about something else related to the show, and he was talking to a customer. And the customer's giving him, if I put 100 more, he was doing the payments in his head. He was like, well, that's just going to put you at this payment. Well, if you do that, he was like, man, look, you might as well take that money and walk out the door because that ain't going to really change your payments. And I was thinking to myself, who does that in their head and negotiates contracts? But what people don't understand is that each of you are an expert in your area. Each of you are goal setting. When I looked up Tim and I met him, most of those those owners that own the dealerships, they come to him. He never has to look for a job. They actually come to him and offer him jobs. They try to outbid each other. So folks, what I'm going to say is when you're doing something in your goal setting, these guys are great examples. And they're simply amazing at what they do. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we get back, we're going to talk about what about if you're in a relationship with somebody who doesn't goal set, but you do? how does it impact the relationship? Because we're going to talk about that. Sometimes that ends up in a little bit of thing, what we call marriage counseling. Be right back after these messages.
Hey guys, this is Jennifer with the Perfect 10 Mobile Mixology Service in collaboration with Black Detroit Magazine, and here to show you why life is too short to drink bad cocktails. Today, I'm going to be making the D&D Margarita featuring Duke and Dame Salted Caramel Whiskey, which is established in 2017. And a little fun fact, guys, this was actually named the third best flavored whiskey in the world, Craig, okay? In the world, right? So what we're gonna do first, we're gonna take our rocks glass and we're gonna dip it right into some nice caramel. Now you can get this at any store. You probably already have this in your cupboard because it's fall time, right? We're gonna go ahead and dip it into some sugar and salt mixture and rim our glass nicely until it's coated and set it aside just to solidify. Then we're gonna go ahead and take our mixing glass and we're gonna do 2 ounces of our Duke and Dame salted caramel. We're gonna place that right into our mixing glass. And then we're gonna go ahead and add some blue agave. We're gonna do 1 ounce of that. And this is gonna sweeten it up a little bit, but guess what? We don't want it too sweet. So we're gonna cut it with 1 ounce of lime juice. So remember, whenever you're using lime juice or lemon juice, you wanna make sure that it's either fresh or 100% juice, okay? Don't get anything with extra sugars and additives in it, okay? You're gonna go ahead and add your ice to your mixing glass. Now you wanna make sure you add enough ice to dilute your cocktail as well as chill it. And you're gonna take your shaker and you're gonna shake it up really good for about a good 10 seconds. You'll know it's ready when your hand starts to get cold and you start to see condensation on the outside of your shaker. All right, and then from here, we're gonna take that glass that we had set aside and we're gonna go ahead and add some ice to that. Now, I recommend putting a nice amount of ice also in your glass because this drink will need a little bit of dilution, but you don't wanna let it sit too long. And it tastes too doggone good to let it sit long, right? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and strain that right on in. Be careful not to disturb your rim. Oh, that looks so good and it smells delicious. Okay, and then we just cut up a little lime wheel here, place it right on top, and there you have it. The D&D Margarita by the Perfect 10. Relax, the cocktails are on us. Cheers.
Hey guys, welcome back to the 5S to Love. Mac, you need your mic for me? I want to welcome you guys back. We're going to have a great time. Listen, thank you to our new sponsor, that's Duke and Dame. That's an African-American liqueur company. So if you're looking for something from Duke and Dame, they are in Florida. They're also in Michigan, but you can always order everything online. So thanks a lot for your support. And of course, you guys saw we got a new show coming on tomorrow, which is Joel Robinson. 60 is the new 40. So guys, I'm going to be totally honest with you, very transparent, because I am. I just think it's important to be in your truth. I normally attach myself to people who have that military concept about life in general. I really feel like it's important for me to be with someone who's regimented, because then I get motivated. So to me, if I'm with the person and they have expectations, not only of themselves, but our relationship and about my health and well-being, I'm very motivated by that. So I think a lot of times it's not that that's the opposite, because I'm motivated to work, but I'm not always so motivated to focus on this, which is important. So I'm going to say, when you look at relationships, and I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I love about Galen is that before he met his spouse, is like he already knew what he wanted. You know what I mean? And she is perfect for him. Like, I just think it's just so unrealistic, because his wife is basically in a very similar field as him, but she's on the medical end of it, which is really odd, because I'm like, what kind of conversations are they having over dinner? They must be rock star. So Galen, she's a goal setter, right?
Yes.
So it works out well for you guys because you're both goal setters.
Yeah, she thinks she manifested me.
All right, so Galen, tell everybody, what does your wife do? Tell them what your wife does.
She's a mental health professional. She owns Graceful Growth Counseling in Chicago. So she's the founder and CEO. And I don't want to miss a letter, because that's important in the medical field.
But she's got all those letters.
And you put those letters behind it. I don't want to miss a letter. We'll just leave it at that. I think the larger issue when it comes to dealing with being in a relationship and having someone that has goals is the understanding that you can't drag someone to success.
Mm-hmm.
And many times people have this fixer savior mentality when it comes to someone. Like, okay, they don't have these things together. We get caught with the outward attraction, which is normal. And then we try to shape someone's mind against their will. But I'm of the belief that a person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. And if they need the outward motivator to always make them act right, then it imbalances the relationship, because that's more like a parent-child versus a partner. And I think that, and I'm sure Matt, because he does the dating with coaching with women and things of that nature, probably can jump on that a little bit more. But you don't want a situation and circumstance where you're striving and this person is just content, because you'll end up with the old church saying of unequally yoked.
Did you guys hear that? And that's so important. So Matt, before I go to you, Ish, in your relationship, you're definitely a goal setter. How does that work for you? Did you bring your wife into fruition, or did she bring you? Because we already know Galen's wife said she brought him in. What happened over there?
I would say we brought each other. She's not really a goal setter, a hardcore goal setter, and I've been a casual goal setter. But listening to the good Dr. Campbell speak about stretching yourself, I'm picking up tips on how I can kind of expand how I go about my goals. I'm focused, but maybe I can push myself a little harder. I think we both can do that. Me and my wife can probably push ourselves a little bit harder in attaining our goals.
And I like that you said that. And I'm going to tell you, the ultimate goal setter, Matt, used to really burn my ass. And I'm going to say ass because he really would get in my shit constantly. Excuse my mouth, Rev. Matt would call me, and he's in Florida. He knows what time it is when he's calling. It could be 12 o'clock at night. Burkett, listen, this is what I'm thinking. I need you to make sure you get on top of it, because this is an opportunity. And what we need to be doing with 5S here is doing this. And so the thing is really great, because Matt doesn't play with me. That whole relationship conference is Matt. Matt was like, this is bigger than that. We're doing a relationship conference, and this is what you need. I was like, okay. But he's doing all of this at 12 o'clock at night. And one of the things that I said to myself, he's doing it at 12 because he knows my day is ended. And now he has my undivided attention. And he's like, I command your attention. So what I'm going to say to you guys is that if you're in a relationship and your spouse or your friend or somebody, they understand you, don't push back, right? Because that pushback is really going to stop you from meeting those goals. Now, RJ, I'm going to say you're not as big as an asshole, right? But I will say you will text it out of me, and I'll be mad on most days that you are texting me that much and calling me, and then you do stuff like, oh, you're not calling? Like, he calls me on the phone like, oh, you that busy? You really? That's how he talks to me. But guess what? We get it done. So what I'm going to say to you guys, like, you got to really look at what it is that you need in your life. And Ish, I'm proud of you. And I know, Matt, your wife Crystal, so let's just let you guys know, he has this executive dating company where he matches high profile women with high profile men. He says he'll never match me because of what, Matt? What did you say about me?
Unmute yourself, Matt. We got to hear this. Come on.
Be nice, Matt.
Cooking, cleaning, and caretaking, and two of those you don't do. So
I just
listen, cooking counts twice. I'm gonna say cooking counts twice. You need to cook. You need to cook. But I would say this on the goal side, you can have two types of partner: a partner who makes no goals, a partner who only follows their goals, or a partner who's willing to support your goals. And it's okay to have a partner, that's the ideal, who supports your goals. It's even okay to have a partner who has no goals and will just go along with the program. But what will not absolutely work is if you have a partner who has goals that don't align with your goals. That's a non-starter. That won't work.
Matt, I like what you said. So let me get through a couple comments because the ladies are not, they're in there tight. So she says, yes, Rev, take action. That is a really big theme, folks. You really got to take action on those goals. Holly said, nothing is worse than fear. It's deep-seated and rooted in trauma. And that is correct. A lot of people, they stop themselves before they even get started. My Healing Hands, are you trying to be a virtual on a co-host on the show? Because you just in it. And I love your participation. Thank you. She said, I agree with Holly. She was like, yeah, you gotta, don't defeat yourself. And in RG, don't limit yourself. You should be a swimsuit model. If that was your true focus.
You're gonna make it happen. You're gonna make it happen.
You know what? All right, get out of here. I need y'all to really every show. Really, this is what we do? Okay, outstanding. All right. So thank you. William said, she said me. And then she also, she said, match me. You have to match me. And Takara sent me some smiley face. Thank you, honey. I need the support because you see how the guys come on me. They show me no mercy. She said she loves this content. Thank you for watching and thank you for that. Real Talk with the Ladies. She's the comedian out of California. Guys, one of the things that I want to ask you, and then we'll go to commercial break after I get an answer from Tim. So when you look at goal setting, and then to Matt's point, if you're with someone who's not on the same page with you, but you're in love with this person, how do you work through that? Because at some point, I don't know if you have enough commonalities to keep you together. That's not important.
I mean, in my opinion, and this is just in my opinion, is that, I mean, if you're a part of the team and maybe you're not as good of a player as you need to be, but you're a part of the team, you're a loyal part of the team. I respect that more because I'm a big enough king that I can take you with me. Like he said, as long as you don't have goals against my beliefs, I can work with you because a lot of people haven't been taught to win. They never really been taught to win. So you can kind of work with somebody as long as they're loyal to you and they believe. Because a lot of people are not going to be models. A lot of people are not going to be this and all these swimsuits and things like that right there, whatever. But does that mean you can't use them?
So does that mean you're supporting me? Unlike the other
guys? I'm supporting all y'all, brother. Okay. I mean, my life is good. I don't have no reason not to support nobody.
I just need to know.
I'm going to support you. If I had to throw your CD out, if I listened to it for 2 minutes, I had to flick it out the window 2 minutes later, I'm going to support you.
Thank you.
I'm going to bump you every day, maybe not. But so, yeah, I mean, to me, just it's more about loyalty. If we set out to do something and you there and you doing your part on your end, what you can do to the best you can do, I can work with you because, everybody's just not going to be on that same level of things. But are they not worthy to be in that same spot? I mean, doesn't really matter who makes the game winning shot. Everybody get a championship ring. The people on the bench get one too. So, some people, don't really matter to me who makes the shot, long as we win.
That's right.
And you're right. It's all about winning and making sure you have that person in your life. Guys, when we get back, we're going to talk about SMART goals because that is the catchphrase out there. What are your SMART goals? And I want each of you to talk about in your specific areas how people can really focus on developing some of those things when they fall off. One of the biggest things is we always start that New Year's Eve resolution, and then by February it's deuces. So how do you get yourself back on track And then we're going to discuss SMART goals. We're going to close out with SMART goals for women and men who are looking for a mate. That's what we're going to finish with. See, I'm giving you guys enough time to get a sticky note. Anybody who knows me, I always have one. For you to start putting together just your SMART goals that you think a person would need in order to find that relationship, get engaged, get married. You can pick any of those, lose the weight that you want. I want you guys to help them put together a little checklist, a little map, and we're going to come back right after these commercials.
I need it all. Do you want it all? Where do I begin? I see the hate, they don't wanna see me win. Bank deposits, I got more coming in. Top down, throw the money in the wind. I don't want it all. Heard he scammer, had to switch up the accounts. Moving paper, gotta call it my account. It's all in, I can have it coming out. Been through the struggle, I can see another drought. Yeah, it's not a purse, it's a merge. 6 figures was a goal, now it's 9 or a hearse. Put it work. Used to pull up, not swerve. No time for the snakes, time to put them in the dirt. That's word. I gotta get it, it's in my DNA. You only see the highlights, don't know what it takes. Last year stressing, got no sleep. Now I'm right between the courts, out of nosebleed. I see the hate, they don't wanna see me win. Bank deposits, I got more coming in. Top down, throw the money in the
broken future. All the plans you made in your heart grew just to die.
Hey guys, welcome back. One of the things that I try to really stay focused on as much as I can is really to look at what do I need to be more efficient in the space that I'm in. So every time we're on hiatus and we're down and you guys are like having a mini vacation before we come back, I'm still working because I'm trying to get set for the next step, right? To take the brand to the next level. And I'm constantly focused on that. But real talk though, what do you guys think about that whole thing? Like no one ever, like you're not pulling back from that. Like it becomes an obsession.
So it kind of has to be, right? I think people who are ultra successful and people who have gone above and beyond and accomplished, things that are mind blowing, they became obsessed to the point where people around them were even thinking that they're probably borderline crazy because they became obsessed with their idea. They became obsessed with them wanting to get there, that they eat, they sleep, they drink, they converse, like they're having a casual conversation for somehow, some way, they find a way, sometimes even naturally, not even that they're trying, but because they're so consumed with this passion, this desire to get there, that it just oozes out of them naturally, right? So, I think that miniature obsession that we might think people have, it's almost a necessity if you're going to really achieve and just, and even go beyond that which you set out to achieve, because you really have to be in it to win it, like for real, for real.
And so my thing is like, and I agree with you 100%. When you look at that, I think a lot of people thought, and for me, I always tell people I don't have time. Like I'm really busy. I just don't have time, right? And it's not that I'm intentionally trying not to spend time or to do something with you. I'm just very focused right now. And I'm very keyed in on what I need to do. And one of the things I try to tell people, I run 3 different companies. So I divide up my day. And sometimes people call me about stuff, but I'm thinking my mindset is on nonprofit, dealing with the STEM kids and trying to get this stuff together so I can give it to these people in this part of the day. So I think it can be a conflict. I mean, Reverend Galen, I'm quite sure you've counseled people where the relationship, it's like they were missing each other because one person was so focused and driven and the other person was just kind of like.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, eventually when people don't address their problems, they have to come see somebody like me.
Mm-hmm.
And what I just try to help people understand is stop trying to be a right fighter and work toward the results you're seeking to get. People love to be right and make somebody else wrong. It's like the human predicament. how can I figure out how to make sure people understand that I'm right? The problem is this: when you start dealing with relationship breakdowns around time, sooner or later you have to show your person through your goals and your actions that they are the priority. It's easy to say you're the priority. It's another thing to manage your time, as the doc said earlier, in a way that lets people know that you're a priority. For instance, Christine, my thing when I was spending, my daughter when she was younger, I would leave work at a specific time. I didn't care what was happening at the church. It was understood at this particular time I was leaving. I'm going to get my daughter, because that was my time with her. Once my first wife and I got divorced, I had to make sure that I had dedicated time, weekends, whatever needed to be shut down. So now that she's a young woman, she understands that my dad made me the priority through his actions. What ends up happening many times is people say things. They're like people at funerals. They get up and say, "Giving honor to God, who's the head of my life," and I just chuckle in my mind and say, "How is God the head of your life?" It's easy to say. It's easy to spew. It's easy to say my health matters to me. It's easy to say my marriage matters to me. It's easy to say my finances matter to me. It's another thing to put definite goals and actions in place to make sure that you are prioritizing it. So it's not subjective. Anybody with a mind can objectively look at how you spend your time, how you use your energy, what you do and what you don't do, and they can tell what's important to you.
100%.
And I like that. And just to let you know, the ladies are behind the scenes. So real quick, Takara said, for women in the chat, who's single? Like, I don't even know what's happening. She checking people. And Takara said, what if it's vice versa? It's a little more difficult for a woman to carry a man to that extent. What do you guys think about what she said?
Stop trying to make Pookie somebody he doesn't want to be.
A lot of women have the misconception that they can change a man, right? That's a big thing, and we can probably talk about that in another episode.
Oh, that's the show we're going to talk about.
Yeah, 100%.
Just that.
And that is one of the biggest problems that women face. Oh, well, he's this way, but I want him to be this way, and I know he said he's not going to change, but I can convince him to change, and that's just not a realistic thing, right? But back on the topic of what you were speaking on, is to be great and to achieve greatness requires sacrifice, right? What that sacrifice entails is contingent upon what's going on in your life. So that can be sacrificing time spent with your friends, socializing, going out drinking and partying, sacrificing time spent with your family, sacrificing time spent with your spouse. But if your spouse is supportive enough, they will understand that sacrifice, because no one achieved greatness without sacrifice. And it's really that simple.
And that's big. So Ish, give me 1 sec, Dr. Campbell. Ish, you've been quiet over there today. What's going on? Because we expect.
I'm doing a lot of introspection, a lot of thinking. A lot of what you said about your, your businesses and this particular podcast, I'm reflecting on my own podcast and what I could do differently. And my venture is a partnership, so I gotta wait for my partner to get ready to do what he needs to do, so we can get it moving. And I think in that waiting period, I've gotten kind of lazy, and so I have to figure out what I can do on my own to kind of push the ball forward in the meantime, So I'm listening to the brothers talk, and
I see, because Ish, by the way, he's never this quiet. It's just a guy that we go, what? What happened? What did he say?
Sometimes you gotta listen as much as you speak. So today I'm listening.
Oh my God!
I gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Look who's checking us out. You guys should be asking Eric, why isn't he on tonight? Look at Eric. Eric's talking to us, right? But he's not on the panel. I don't get this part. So listen, Eric says she may not have goals, but if she supports your goals, she's a ride or die chick. What do you guys think about what Eric said?
So that's, I agree 100%. Let me just pull from my own personal experience. When I got married 5 years ago, my wife was in nursing school. Well, I'm sorry, she had finished nursing school and she was a nurse, and I was working in IT. And I said, hey, I want to go back to medical school. What does this mean? We had already had a house, had a kid. She was like, what is this? You're going to stop working for X amount of years and do what? And literally, I needed to convince her that not only was I passionate about this, but it was legitimate and it was real, to the point where she bought into what I was saying. And then she held down the fort for the next 12 years. while I simply just went to school. She did
Wow.
above and beyond. So she put her goals on the back burner in order to support mine, not even knowing what the future might entail. It could be 5 years, 10 years down the line. Who knows what could happen? But she took a risk. She took a chance. Sometimes you need that ride or die person with you to support you, right? Because even now, right now in our practice, people see me, the best of Las Vegas, best doctor here, etc. But what they don't see and understand that, you know, the wind to my sails, the water that propels me forward, is really her holding the family down, her supporting me when I go in stressed out.
Dr. Campbell, don't make me cry. Don't do it. You
know
know I
she's
love
sensitive.
it.
If y'all don't know, you need to know. She's sensitive.
That's real talk.
Marcy, don't tell everybody I'm sensitive. I'm hardcore. You're breaking my street cred.
My bad, my
out
bad.
here.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. But
Okay, so real
that's
quick,
legitimate. That's real.
Anissa said Tim representing the South. Great job. Analogy with the whole championship rings. Really, she would support the South. Takara said that's right. Takara also said, but what if he said he's going to change? I understand what he needs to be better, but he needs time. How do you carry that as a woman?
You know, one of the things that you talked about is what advice would we give for women for goal setting? And it's real clear. You need to have a vision. So you need, as a woman, to be very clear. And they talked about clarity earlier on what you want in the 7 areas. Physical fitness, what does he need to look like? Personal finance, psychology, his prayer life. And once you're clear with those things, once you're clear on those 7 things, then you can become the ride or die woman that he needs. Or you can become the partner, because it's going to shift. Sometimes you're going to be ride or die, but then it's going to shift, and then you're going to be a partner. And then sometimes, quite frankly, as a woman, you may have to lead. But the key thing is getting a vision, writing it down. If you have to convince him to do these things, he's not the right man.
Agree.
Wow, I like that. And guys, we're coming back. We're just taking a quick commercial break. When I come back, I'm actually, you know, Matt, you gave yours, but I'm going to need you guys to give what women need to know, or men or general people in general, about if they're looking to be in a relationship with somebody. What are you guys thinking that smart list looks like? Because it's really important. And I'm going to say to you, everything Matt just says, I talk to Galen all the time about my life. And the thing is, you have to manifest it. And I'm going to tell you, between the two of them, and I know Dr. Campbell, he's about to jump on the team. He told me I could be in a bathing suit and be a model. So that's beautiful. We're going to see what happens. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Okay, Matt, we're back and we're starting with you. So Matt, what are your smarts? Are you in? Okay, we'll have to get back to Matt. Matt is having. So RJ, we're going to start with you. What's your smart checklist?
So the key is to be authentically you. Be honest and transparent about who you are and what your expectations are within a relationship and the person you're trying to deal with, and yourself. Like outside of that, I mean, everything stems from that. We live in a society, unfortunately, a lot of people present their representative in what they perceive themselves to want to be versus who they truly are. So it's just authenticity. That's really the key to everything.
I like that. I like being uniquely me, but Matt said I can't tell people I don't cook. So I don't know. Matt said don't tell him that, because the man's gonna be
that
like,
might be one thing you might want to keep close to the chest.
Right. Just keep it close to I'm gonna keep it close to my hip. All right, thanks, RJ. So Ish, what about you? What's your 5, or what's something that you would say to a woman, a man who's looking to be in a relationship, engaged, or married as their goal, one of their goals?
Well, obviously, honesty would be the primary thing you should focus on, and being forthright about what your expectations are in the relationship going forward. And communication. Being able to communicate those things to your partner.
I like that. And for once, normally you guys know I mess around and keep Galen for last, but Galen, for once, like I'm bringing you in like early. Are you excited about that one? Like I'm gonna let Matt finish it out with because he's our matchmaker.
There's so many powerful guys. First of all, because just to be clear, SMART goals means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound.
Thank you.
It's easy to say, let's do SMART goals and not necessarily understand what that means. Everybody's not familiar with that terminology. So when we start dealing with SMART, specific, again, get clear about what it is that you're seeking to experience. But as you know, my thing is know what your bottom lines are. Mm-hmm. Know what your non-negotiable, unalterable terms are. You got to be very, very clear, because if everything is a bottom line, then you're not flexible enough to be able to work with anyone. You got to know your bottom lines, and you have to know these are flexible points. Measurable. Okay. When you're in a relationship, you need to communicate. Okay. What is it that I'm seeking to produce and experience in this relationship? And it needs to be measurable. I don't know what he's thinking, I don't know what she's thinking conversation in your brain has to come out of your brain, and you need to communicate in your mouth, out of your mouth. Where are we? This is how I see it. How do you see it? And if those things match, great. If they aren't matched, get in an alignment. And if they can match up, then keep it moving. When you start talking about relevant, obviously it needs to, need to know what you're bringing to the table and what this potential partner is bringing to the table. And time bound. In other words, as I tell people who are dealing with what I call indefinite engagements, an engagement means that is a date towards something. People who are, trying to marry the same guy for 25 years, like, come on now, let's just stop playing. So eventually, fear has to stop dictating the conversation in your mind.
Yeah.
And you have to bet on yourself. And betting on yourself means get right with yourself. Do your own inner soul work. Make peace with yourself. Make peace with your own inner critic. Make peace with what is unresolved. Forgive, whatever you need to do. And then write down your goals. Again, get clarity of thought. Get your conviction together. Build your mental blueprint of the type of life that you desire. Because here's the thing. People love high vibration. People love success. People want to be around striving people. So when you make yourself a better version of yourself, you're going to attract people who are better versions of themselves. Yes. Hopefully that helps.
I loved it. And thank you so much. Okay, so Tim, what are your thoughts about SMART goals for relationships, dating, marriage? Your audio, you're good or not? No? You can't hear me? Okay. All right, so I'm going to go over here. All right, so Dr. Campbell.
So in addressing the question, I think I would like to just draw on sort of, an analogy here. So when I'm preparing to do a surgical procedure for my patient, right, there's certain things that I have to do. And the reason why I'm going to list these things is because I'm going to just tie these into a point that the Reverend just made, right? So I have to make sure that I review the MRI films, right? Myself, me, have to make sure that I review the patient laboratory studies,
right?
Make sure that there's no abnormalities. I have to make sure that I check in with my anesthesiologist to see, if he or she has any concerns or questions. Who is the nursing care team that is going to be covering this case? And we need to have a discussion about this, right? Who are the scrub techs? Have I worked with them before in the past or not? Right? How competent are they? Right?
Right.
As you can see, the questions that I'm raising so far has to do with me, right? And my preparation. I've not mentioned the patient just yet,
Right.
but it's me, right? Entering a relationship with a desired outcome. In this case, my desired outcome is to have a successful procedure for this patient. But I have to do some me work, right? And the me work that has to be done cannot be overlooked, because otherwise the surgery might not be successful. So the outcome
Exactly.
higher, right, is a lot has to do with me. And so before I go out, looking for I need to make sure that there's certain things that I need to get done. I think in a relationship, we can draw some lessons from that, right? You're going out, you're trying to find the right person, the right partner, the right balance. But let's talk about the me work. As
Right.
we said, are you ready? What is your readiness? And when I say readiness, it's not just a loose term. Mentally, psychologically, physically.
Psychologically, physically.
Exactly. If I'm looking for, let's say I'm looking for, the next swimsuit model, right?
Really, Dr. Campbell, we have to go there?
Well, let's just say that's what I'm looking for, right?
Gotta go
And
there.
that visual in my mind, right? If I have that visual in my mind and I am not of a certain readiness, then why do I think that that needs to be yes, I may take a chance, I may look out,
Right.
but I'm maximizing my chances of finding a right fit for myself. So we have to do some introspection and do some work on us. And once you figure that out, right, then you can create that blueprint and go out looking. So I think a lot of success of finding that right person begins with that me work. Readiness.
I like that. And I believe that you guys knew that me work. I do it all the time. Dr. Campbell, thank you. And let me see if I can get, I'm going to try to see if I can grab Tim, and then I can close out with Matt. So we're going to see. Hey, Tim, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so Tim, what would be yours?
I didn't even hear what the question was.
Oh, no, when you talk about SMART goals, and I wanted you to relate it to relationships, what is something that you would recommend or share with someone who wants to be in a relationship, engaged, or married this year as one of their goals?
I'm just to be truthful. I think that something about the Campbell guys, because these Campbell guys got them things in there. So possibly if you get a goal this year, possibly run into a Campbell.
Is that what we're saying? Really, Tim? So you had to join in with Dr. Campbell. I'm going to say you guys are going to be killing my my DMs. I'm very sure about that. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tim. And so we're going to close out with Matt. Matt is, and if you guys don't know this, you missed it. He's an executive matchmaker. So Matt, like how important it is. So what is it that you're going to leave us with? Because the ladies are waiting with bated breath.
Sure. The number one thing is that you have the power. You are not a victim. You're not waiting on a knight in shining armor to come rescue you. This is not Disney. So if this isn't Disney, what are the specific things that you need to do in order to get to the goal of having a partner? Number one, men are visual. People are visual. So work on your physical appearance. Hire you a stylist. Make sure your body shape and your clothes reflect your body type. Work on your personality. If you have hidden trauma, unhealed trauma, baggage from your past relationships, fix that. You need to work on your personal finance. In 2023, nobody wants someone with bad credit, no credit, or rising credit. There's no excuse not to have your credit fixed. Work on your job satisfaction. If you don't like your job, quit and get another one. And then work on your prayer life. Doesn't matter your faith, but whatever your faith is, you need to be tied in to the Most High. And if you do all 6 of those things and you have an accountability partner, because you're going to need that, whether you pay someone or whether you get someone who loves you enough to tell you the truth, you need to add an accountability partner. And if you do that, all those steps, and you do them right, by the end of 12 months, you will have a partner. It's a very specific process. It's all about you. You are not a victim. You have all the power. You're 1 in a billion. Get you a partner.
I love that. And thank you so much, Matt. And so I'm going to say to everybody a couple things just to summarize this up. Everyone mentioned you being able to establish your goals and you being able to take action on those goals and then finding accountability partners, but it's also being realistic about what it is that you want to do. Definitely, I could be a swimsuit model, But with everything that I'm doing, am I really going to really put aside that much time or devote that much time to that? Or am I going to devote that time to creating an app or the next great win in IT? You know, so those are the things you need to be realistic about. But real talk to everybody who's out there, be yourself, be your authentic self. Someone's going to love you and like you just the way you are. Now, of course, you have some finishing touches you need to do, but you heard from the men. Men are visual. So ladies, if you want a certain type of man, you're going to have to look a certain way. And I'm not saying don't do the candy wrapper. Don't do that. Find out what he's attracted to. He may be attracted to your curviness. I'm telling you now, I know I'm a little chunky, but I know that there's somebody out there that's going to love me just the way I am. 30 pounds now or 30 pounds less. And just to let you guys know, Matt thinks all women should cook, though. He really does something. He told me at least tell him I can make an appetizer. And you should see him backstage. They're all doing thumbs up. So guys, listen, real talk, rewatch this. Really find out what it is that you want to set your goals towards when it comes to relationships, love, marriage. And talk to your partner. Communication is so important. One of the things that Dr. Campbell said to you guys, his wife had his back when he wanted to make a change. You want to look for that ride or die person. Okay, you want to look for that person that does align to something that you're doing, because you got to stay connected throughout that process. And the only thing I can say to you guys is come back next week. This was just the intro. You know, I'm being nice right now with the guys. Next week, we're getting in, because they're going to be talking about relationship, love, life, finance, everything. Nothing's off the table. We're going to bring it back to you guys next week. And be sure to like whatever social media site you're on right now. Like our broadcast, share it. We love to hear from you guys. And every question we didn't answer, those guys are going to dig in and they'll answer those questions throughout the week. Thanks a lot for watching us here on 5S to Love, Real Talk with the Men. We'll see you here next week.